WCBI News at 6 starts now.
Good evening, everyone. The deadly accident at a safety checkpoint in Monroe County is turned over to investigators with the Mississippi Highway Patrol. It happened around 9:49 Saturday night. That's when the Monroe County Sheriff's Deputy Dylan Pickle was hit by a vehicle as he was manning a safety checkpoint at Hamilton Road and Sealy Road. Pickle was taken to North Mississippi Medical Center where he died. Deputy Zach Wilbanks was also struck by the car. He was taken to NMMC where he is recovering. The driver of the car stayed at the scene and is cooperating with law enforcement. Early indications show it could have been an accident. No one was taken into custody and no charges have been filed so far. Tributes have been pouring in on social media for the 24-year-old deputy whose words of encouragement are for family, friends, and strangers. Today, Monroe County law enforcement tell our Allie Martin about the young man who was seeing his dream come true.
Deputy Dylan Pickle had worked with the Monroe County Sheriff's Department since 2016. He started out as a corrections officer, but his ultimate goal was to patrol the streets. The sheriff and others who worked with the deputy say he was finally living out and realizing his lifelong dream. Captain Scotty Clark says this photo on his wall captures the spirit of Deputy Dylan Pickle.
He was a character. We were just sitting there on the couch having a little break, and he just decided he wanted to come over there and jump on the back of the couch and do a little horse playing around with us there.
Captain Clark says Deputy Pickle knew how to lighten the mood at just the right time, but took his job seriously all the time. Clark says Pickle gave 100% from the time he was hired as a corrections officer in 2016. He took a break when he was deployed with the National Guard to Syria, and when he returned, he was back at the Sheriff's Department. He became a daytime supervisor and eventually worked his way into a transport job. Pickle paid his way through the police academy in Moorhead and landed a spot as a deputy. It was his dream job.
And even as a little kid, he was wanting to be a law enforcement, be a police officer. And he's spent a lot of money to buy a lot of gear for himself and to make himself successful.
Deputy Pickle had just completed the field training officer program and was ready to be on the streets on his own.
Dylan was a go-getter. He came to work. He had a smile on his face. He loved his job. He had your back.
You can second guess yourself and think, did we, promote him too quick, put him on the road too fast? But he was doing what he wanted to do, and we were giving him a shot to do what he wanted to do, and he loved doing it, and I would not have changed that. I believe our days are numbered, and I believe he got to do what he wanted to do.
The sheriff and others who worked alongside Deputy Pickle know the days, weeks, and months ahead will be tough, but they also know the community M17 loved so much will be there through prayer and support. In Aberdeen, Allie Martin, WCBI News.
Deputy Pickle's funeral will be Thursday. Arrangements are being handled by E.E. Pickle Funeral Home of Amory. The Monroe County Sheriff's Deputy injured in the accident shares a message to everyone through social media. Deputy Zach Wilbanks posted this photo, which we have been given permission to use. He says, quote, "I can't reply to everyone, but M17 is all that matters. I love you, buddy." M17 is the badge number for Deputy Pickle. Wilbanks suffered a skull fracture along with leg and ankle injuries, but is expected to fully recover. The Winston County Sheriff's Department is also mourning the loss of a deputy. 50-year-old Leon Glenn died this afternoon at his home. Sheriff Jason Pugh says Glenn was a superb deputy and person and was looked up to by many in the community. Glenn has been a deputy since 1999. He worked a second job and was apparently on his lunch break today when he passed away. It appears he passed away from natural causes. Arrangements are incomplete. Lowndes County residents may soon be required to wear a face mask. It's a decision the governor is now considering. This comes after supervisors voted to pass a resolution asking Governor Tate Reeves to add the county to the list of counties where wearing a mask is mandatory. Our Quentin Smith speaks with county leaders about the decision. He joins us live with the details.
Yes, Joey, the board voted unanimously to pass this resolution during today's meeting here inside the courthouse. Now, this is a decision that didn't sit too well with the governor. During his presser today, Tate Reeves says they're making him out to be the, quote, bad guy by making this decision. Now, if the governor does accept the board's request, that means individuals will have to wear masks while out at public gatherings or in a shopping environment. And it also limits social gatherings to no more than 10 people indoors and 20 people outdoors. District 5 Supervisor Leroy Brooks says this is a decision that's personal for him. His niece recently died from the coronavirus. Supervisors say the number of COVID-19 cases and deaths are continuing to rise at an alarming rate, and they believe this mandate could help slow the virus from spreading.
Regardless of what I write on an executive order, regardless of what the Lowndes County Board of Supervisors writes or ask anyone to do, if you're in Lowndes County, you should wear a mask. If you're in any other county in our state, you should wear a mask.
No one likes wearing these masks. They're hot. Sometimes they burn your face. It may take away from your beauty or whatever it may be, but it certainly, from all indication, has been suggested it works.
Now, Governor Tate Reeves says Lowndes County is one of the 9 counties that meets the criteria to be added to the list. According to the State Department of Health, from July 1st through July 25th, the county has had more than 260 new cases. The governor plans to make a decision on whether to add Lowndes County to his list within the next 2 to 3 days. That's the very latest from here in Lowndes County. Quentin Smith, WCBI News.
The number of COVID-19 cases in Mississippi drops today. Dr. Thomas Dobbs, the state health officer, reports 653 cases across the state and 6 deaths. Dobbs says it is not unusual to see a lower amount after the weekend, and he does not necessarily believe this is the start of a trend. 9 hospitals in the state do not have ICU beds. OCH Regional Medical Center is the only area hospital that posts its patient stats online. It is reporting no ICU beds are available. 5 of the hospital's 14 COVID patients are in ICU. Too many people in one place. Clay County hopes its strict curfew will stop large groups of people from gathering at the county's watering holes, and that in turn will slow the spread of COVID-19. WCBI's Bobby Martinez talks with Sheriff Eddie Scott today and has more.
As COVID cases continue to increase here in the state, social gatherings have been a common problem here in Clay County. And Clay County Sheriff Eddie Scott wants people to know there is a curfew put in place, and there are consequences for those who decide not to follow the curfew rules.
Everybody in it together. It's a community effort to try to protect everybody.
It's been an uphill battle for those on the front lines. COVID-19 cases are steadily increasing by the week, and according to Mississippi Department of Health, here in Clay County, 345 people have tested positive, 13 people have died, and Sheriff Eddie Scott says despite a curfew, he knows more people are being diagnosed.
What kind of brought it to light was some of the issues that we've been having with some of our younger crowd, the social distancing. I mean, when we get people that's gathering together, 400 people, at one time.
Scott says the majority of the people at these large gatherings drive to Clay County from hotspot counties.
When we go and look, 75% of these people not even from our county. I see tags from Lee, Monroe, areas as hotspots. And, we want to do everything we can, working with the Board of Supervisors, the City Selectmen, and law enforcement as a whole to help try to protect the citizens of our community.
The current curfew is from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. with several exceptions.
If it's essential travel, you're covered. If your person's going to work, if they're coming from work, if they're going to get food, these types of things, a reasonable explanation. But just to be out and going to a friend's house, to have a party, that's not considered essential. And that's what we're going to be looking for.
Sheriff Scott says this curfew will be in effect for the time being, as the county is doing their part to help prevent the spread of COVID-19. Reporting in Clay County, Bobby Martinez, WCBI News.
Sheriff Scott says if you refuse to follow curfew guidelines, fines will be enforced. Rural hospitals are feeling the surge in COVID-19 cases, but most of them aren't able to house patients as needed. To keep treatment going, they're relying on larger medical facilities to house sicker patients. Winston Medical Center CEO Paul Black says WMC never had to address this problem before. Around 35 to 40 of the hospital's patients are transferred each month for treatment. Most of the cases are referred right from the ER. Black says even though the hospital has the personnel to care for COVID-positive cases, the type of health complications determine if the patient needs a higher level of care.
We go anywhere from UMMC in Jackson all the way to North Mississippi in Tupelo, OCH, Golden Triangle in Columbus, down to Rush and Anderson in Meridian. Whenever there's a patient that is deemed to need an ICU service, we'll look out to those particular areas and try and find a bed.
Black is following daily updates from state health officials. He says the hospital will continue to use this practice until further notice.
We had some good rain out there earlier today. Right now, those clouds beginning to thin a little bit. The rain really on the way out. That's our Alpha Insurance camera network. I think we'll squeeze out a nice little sunset here on our Monday. You can see the showers going away, the clouds thinning out as well. So overall, pretty quiet heading into our Monday evening. Temperatures will gradually cool down to the lower 70s tonight. We suspect there could be some areas of fog out there with all that low-level moisture still in play here. And for tomorrow, much like today, upper 80s, warm and steamy, more pop-up showers and storms. Your full 7-day forecast is coming up.
Bond is sent today for a Columbus man accused of killing his cousin. 39-year-old Israel Buckhalter's bond was given a $100,000 bond this afternoon. He was arrested shortly after the East Columbus shooting. The deadly gunfire happened on Springdale Drive. Investigators say 32-year-old Desi Shepard was shot inside a family member's home. Police Chief Fred Shelton declined to say what started the argument between the two men that ended in gunfire. Lowndes County Coroner Greg Merchant has ordered an autopsy by the state medical examiner. There are hundreds of rooms for rent in college towns. Just ahead, what managers are doing to secure leases for fall. That story on WCBI News at 6. Welcome back, everyone. 3 weeks from today, Mississippi State is scheduled to return to campus to begin the fall semester. This is good news for the university, but also for those in the rental industry. Lindley Properties in Starkville says it is seeing an increase in students looking for housing. In fact, owner Jimmy Lindley says a majority of the rentals he owns have already been filled. Lindley admits he was surprised to see the large number of student renters due to the pandemic. The property owner says they're cleaning and sanitizing all buildings before students return next month.
Right now, we're full. We have some commercial property, and the commercial property has done well, and it stays pretty full. But now there are a lot of empty apartments around. There are a lot of them, and I feel for those folks. I feel for everybody that this is affected because it's just killed some people.
Lindley says a few tenants asked to be let out of the lease when the pandemic first began, but the majority of their tenants who are in undergrad have all come back. And I guess if you were trying to move in an apartment today, you had to dodge some rain showers.
Getting done pretty good in spots. I think Starkville, one of those locations. Here in Columbus, we got the rain as well. More scattered storms here, but that will limit our heating here for the next 7 days, but plenty of humidity. Your full 7-day forecast is next.
WCBI First Alert Accuweather Forecast with Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson.
Showers butted up just after 10 o'clock this morning, right on cue, and some of those moved through Louisville, Mississippi. Look at this great big downpour right there. Some of those heavier rain bands moved on through parts of the region today. In Vernon at Durham's Pharmacy, building clouds this afternoon, some passing showers. You also saw a little bit of rain over there this afternoon. Let's do a live view in the Vernon right now, 82 degrees, not too shabby here. A lot of the rain on the way out. Temperatures are comfortable here, 70s to low 80s. Still very, very humid, but the clouds, the showers keeping the heating and the oppressiveness at bay right now. There's an area of low pressure that's going to weaken down to our south right now. That will gradually lift to the north, and there's actually a frontal boundary back to the north too. Those features with the daily heat and humidity, the front, the heat, some upper level air support. All of that will just add up to some scattered showers and storms on a daily basis, mainly during the heating of the day. And as we get into our early Monday evening, things are on the way out now. Low 70s here, variably cloudy. We may have a nice sunset, so if you see any color, we'd love to see some of those pics. Low 70s here. And tomorrow morning, can't rule out a stray shower early, but probably after 10 o'clock, much like today, into the afternoon and early evening. More scattered showers and storms on the way. Light winds from the south, highs in the upper 80s to mid 80s. So not as hot. Tupelo, though, today you got the 95 because you had the sun a little bit longer. But in general here for the next few days, more in the way of developing showers and storms and some slightly cooler temperatures than what we've been accustomed to. So the clouds will tend to be on again, off again during the course of the overnight hours, but variably cloudy, we'll call it. Maybe a stray shower, but essentially dry. By early afternoon tomorrow, if not earlier, some of those showers and storms around the region here on our Tuesday. A lot of that will weaken as we get into tomorrow night, and then more scattered showers for your Wednesday, Thursday, even into your Friday and Saturday. Now, we may have another tropical system coming our way later this week. Out here in the Atlantic, a 70 to 80% chance of development here. This would be moving back to the northwest, and just looking at data, it doesn't look like that would get into the Gulf of Mexico, even if it were to develop. Of course, we'll keep watching as our tropics are really heating on up. Here's your AccuWeather 70 forecast. We've got, by the way, of upper 80s here for the rest of the work week. Some pretty good chances for scattered showers and storms each and every day, and that's very typical for late July.
All right, thanks, Keith. The high school football tour continues with Academy Week. We check in next with the Heritage Academy Patriots. Stay tuned.
Your WCBI Sports with Courtney Robb is brought to you by your local Ford dealers. Go further.
Academy Week continues on the high school football tour. Our next stop checks in with the MAIS 5A reigning state champs, the Heritage Academy Patriots. Heritage might lose a lot of talent from its big senior class. However, head coach Sean Harrison says the Patriots have the talent to return to the title game once again. Heritage Academy is stop number 36 on the high school football tour.
WCBI Sports 2020 High School Football Tour is brought to you by Itawamba Community College, Cannon Ford of Starkville, Monroe County Farm Bureau, Max South Broadband, and the Bank of Vernon.
2019 was a banner year for the Heritage Academy Patriots. An undefeated season capped off with the Patriots' first state title in 7 years. The question now is, can Heritage Academy have that same success in 2020?
We had a really talented senior class, but those guys are gone now, and we have a lot of young talent that would have played a lot of places last year. And so, really excited for those guys this year to get their opportunity. I think they're excited. I think they're tired of hearing about that senior class, and they're excited to get out there and show what they can do.
I think we just got to get closer and start playing together. We're really young right now.
Some big playmakers the Patriots will have to replace are wide receiver Jared Long, running back KJ Smith, and quarterback Carter Putt. All three combined for over 5,000 yards of the Patriots offense during the 2019 season.
You don't replace any of them. A special group, a lot of talent, but we've got a wonderful group to build around now. And that's the plan, is to go out and get these guys reps and watch them grow up over the next 3 years.
Just step up. First person to step up, just come harder. Same thing we did last year, but better.
However, Harrison remains impressed with his current group and will look to players such as wide receiver Wesley Miller, defensive lineman John Jackson, and sophomore Mac Howard, who stepped in as the Patriots' starting QB.
He's grown a lot, which was big. Put on some weight. He's throwing the ball great right now. His understanding of the offense has improved tremendously. And so, he's just making that jump from a ninth grader to a sophomore, and he's a little ahead of what I expected, so, really excited for that.
While this current Heritage Academy team has moved on from last year's championship victory, knowing how to win still proves to be beneficial.
These guys have gotten used to winning, and they understand that, we have some learning to do, but at the end of the day, we expect to go win every game we play.
A lot of pressure, a lot of people just coming out there, but we just want to do the same thing. Have fun, stick together, and play.
We just got to push everybody the hardest and make the young guys step up and do all we can do.
The Patriots begin the search for back-to-back state titles with the season opener against Jackson Prep on August 21st.
They be doing the same thing we did last year. but even better.
We plan on coming out with all we got.
With Heritage Academy on the high school football tour, Courtney Robb, WCBI Sports.
WCBI Sports 2020 High School Football Tour with Heritage Academy is brought to you by Animal Clinic of Columbus, Venue 208 of Columbus, and JES Wealth Strategies.
More for you when we come back.
It looks like our rain is done. Clouds still in place out there, but those clouds will gradually thin out. If nothing else, we'll have a pretty decent sunset for a little bit here. Now, more scattered showers and storms likely each and every day for the next 7. Joey, typical late July weather, and you can believe it, this upcoming weekend, August begins.
Yes, it does. It has flown by.
Sure has.
This summer, anyway. All right. Thanks for joining us, everyone.